Have you ever wondered what an NFL team made up completely of superheroes would look like? Well, I have, so that's what we're going to be talking about in this video today. Before we get into choosing any players for our team, I want to just establish some rules for this imaginary game. Rule number 1 is no flying, because I think that it would be unfair to the players that can't fly. Rule number 2 is no manipulating the ball in any way, so no like telekinesis or anything like that. Rule number 3 is no mind reading or mind control, because I feel like it's unfair for the players that can't. Number 4 is no killing. I feel like that's kind of a given just because it would ruin the spirit of the game. Rule number 5 is no cosmic characters. So no like Thanos, Darkseid, Galactus, no one like that because it would just be overpowered. Before we choose any players, we also have to look at our coaching staff. I think that coaches get a bit undervalued when talking about successful football teams, but being a head coach is tough. You have final say in all play calling duties, but more importantly, you have to be a leader and you have to know how to manage the different personalities of the players on your team. So I can't think of a better choice for our head coach than Professor Charles Xavier. Professor X has been leading the X-Men for years, and he's a master of understanding how to balance the unique personalities of a team made up of superheroes. He's incredibly smart and the X-Men look up to him. Sadly, he can't use his mind reading powers to know the other team's play calls in this game, but he can input our play calls directly into our players' minds. For offensive coordinator, I chose Tony Stark. Tony Stark, while being a bit of a loose cannon, has established himself as the leader of the Avengers and the go-to guy for problem solving. He's a great strategist and he'll come up with all kinds of unique ways to scheme our players into position so that they can succeed. Finally, our defensive coordinator will be Batman. I think Batman is naturally more of a defensive-minded guy rather than offensive, but he's a genius and he's excellent at reading people and situations. He's the lead strategist of the Justice League for a reason, and with the players that we have on defense and Batman's play calls, I'm not sure if anyone will be able to score on this team. Okay, so now that we've got the coaching staff figured out and we've got some rules established, now we can get into the fun part. We can start choosing our players. So first and most important on our team is going to be quarterback. So I had a really difficult time choosing the quarterback for this team. Quarterback is obviously the most important position on the field, so I had to make sure I was making the right choice for the team. Some of the options I considered were Captain America for his leadership, Cyborg for his experience playing football and like analytical abilities, and Superman because he's Superman. But I think really the choice came down to two characters, either Hawkeye or Bullseye. Both would make for fantastic quarterbacks due to their insane accuracy. In the MCU, Hawkeye said he tried golf one time and he actually got bored because he played 18 holes and shot 18, meaning he got a hole in one every single shot. But Bullseye actually got drafted into the MLB, and he played 3 games, pitching no-hitters in all 3 before getting bored and killing one of his opponents with a throw. There are multiple examples of current players who got drafted to play in the MLB, but chose football, such as Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, and even Patrick Mahomes. After much debate between my top 2 choices, I landed on Bullseye to be the quarterback that would lead this team. While I think Hawkeye would have done great, the difference between the two is that Hawkeye is at his best when he's using a bow and arrow, while Bullseye's at his best when he's using his actual throwing ability. Bullseye comes in standing at 6 foot and weighing 200 pounds. He's a bit undersized for a quarterback, especially on this team, but I don't think it'll hold him back. Durability won't be a problem because Bullseye actually has adamantium fused to his skeleton, just like Wolverine does. Bullseye is an Olympic-level athlete and powerlifter, and is actually quite gifted intellectually. The only problem is that it's more of like a schizophrenic, obsessive type of intelligence rather than like scientist intelligence. He's been quoted as saying that when he gets really obsessed with a target, he's able to operate with almost a level of like precognition, being able to predict opponents' moves and chains of events at almost supernatural levels. Now, this would be quite terrifying if you were his assassination target, but since he's our quarterback, that sounds perfect. Some of his best throwing feats include slitting someone's throat with a playing card, landing a paper airplane on a distant rooftop, and killing a person with a toothpick from 100 yards away. Basically, this guy's going to be a killer for us, as long as he doesn't have any schizophrenic episodes on the field. Okay, now that we've got our quarterback situation figured out, we can move on to the rest of the offense. So first, we're going to start with running back. For our running back position, I chose to go with Juggernaut. Juggernaut was actually the inspiration for making this video because his imposing size and unique abilities make him literally the perfect workhorse running back. Juggernaut is the avatar for a deity named Cyttorak. This deity grants him close to limitless strength, he physically cannot get tired, and he's basically invulnerable to any type of physical damage. He stands at an absolutely horrifying 6'10" and weighs in at 900 pounds. What made him stand out to me as the perfect running back is his ability to control momentum. Once he starts moving in a direction, he is literally impossible to stop. I can't imagine a more perfect running back. 6'10", 900 pounds, can't get hurt, and he literally cannot be stopped moving once he starts. For running back 2, I went with Flash. Flash is the fastest person on the field, but he's also one of the weakest durability-wise. So instead of making him our every down back and risking injury, we're going to keep him as a change of pace back and a gadget guy for screens and trick plays to keep him healthy. Hopefully provide the team with some big yardage chunk plays. Flash will also fill in as slot receiver when we go into 3 wide receiver sets and we want a little bit more speed on the field. For tight end, I decided to go with Captain America. Cap was difficult to choose a position for because he's literally the definition of an ideal football player. He has good size, good speed, good strength, and intelligence. Problem is that he's not really the best at any one of those things. So I think tight end is a perfect position for someone like him who's well-rounded, unselfish, and he's willing to do the dirty work. Next up is wide receiver. As I already said, Flash is going to be our slot receiver for when we go 3 wide receiver sets. But for our X receiver, our number 1, it's going to be Spider-Man. He was an easy choice for wide receiver. He has incredible agility, he can jump out the gym, and he's got the spidey senses to protect himself from the big hits, but he literally has built-in stick-'em on his hands. If we can get the ball to him, he'll catch it. For wide receiver 2, I decided to go with Black Panther. Black Panther is another one of those guys that would succeed really no matter where you put him on the field, but I think he'll help the team most at wide receiver. His abilities are enhanced by the Panther God that grants him superhuman strength, speed, reflexes, and jumping ability. His vibranium suit will be especially useful though, because it has retractable claws that will allow him to latch onto the ball. Now this may break the no manipulating the ball rule, but no one got anywhere in life playing fair. His suit's ability to absorb kinetic energy will also be really useful for taking any hits he may get going over the middle. Alright, now that we got our skill position players out of the way, we can talk about our O-line. I think that our O-line is absolutely crazy. Wait until you hear some of the picks that I have for these positions. So at left tackle, we're going with Colossus. Colossus comes in standing at 7'5" and weighs 500 pounds. He was an easy choice to protect our QB's blind side. Colossus grew up on a Russian farm where he was taught the value of hard work, and when he joined the X-Men, he was happy to take on the protector, father type of role. Perfect guy to put at the most important position on the O-line. Oh, and he also has insane strength, durability, and is literally completely made out of steel. At left guard, we're going with Luke Cage. Luke Cage comes in at 6'6" and he weighs 430 pounds. Absolutely insane measurables for the closest thing that we have to a normal person on this O-line. We want our interior O-lineman to be absolutely tough as nails, and that's exactly what Luke is. He had a tough upbringing and was eventually falsely incarcerated, where he was experimented on, giving him unbreakable skin and incredible strength. He was noted as being a gifted athlete even before the experiments, but now he can punch through 4 inches of pure steel, which is exactly the type of push that our interior guards need. At center, I decided to go with The Thing. This was another one that I knew was going to just be a perfect fit. So, standing at 6 foot flat and 500 pounds, he's like the exact compact size that the modern center is. The Thing is known as the most durable out of any of the Marvel heroes. He's fought Hulk and Juggernaut to a standstill, and while not having the overwhelming strength that some of the other players do, he definitely has the fortitude and will be the perfect center for this team. Easy choice, no one's getting through The Thing up the middle. At right guard, it's the Blob. Standing at 8 feet and weighing in at 975 pounds, the Blob is actually only our second biggest O-lineman. The Blob is an absolute mountain and is a mutant with superhuman strength. He doesn't feel pain in any way, and his fat cells are unique in that they absorb any impact on his body. So things like bullets, cannonballs, and fists literally don't do anything to him. On top of all that, what makes him probably our best O-lineman is his unique mutant power. I kinda knew about the Blob, but I didn't really understand his power until I started researching for this. He can actually manipulate gravity, but only for himself. So he uses this power to root himself to the ground, making him almost impossible to move when he's touching the ground. I considered him for the nose tackle position, but I think his unique power will be a better fit on our monstrous O-line that we've created. At right tackle, I went with Groot. According to the Marvel Fandom Wiki, where I've been getting the physical characteristics of these characters, Groot is listed at 23 feet tall and weighs 8,200 pounds. Groot at his core is a pacifist, but he hates seeing his friends get hurt and he'll do anything to protect them. This is exactly what we're looking for in our right tackle. Combining that with his size, strength, and flexibility with his vines, he'll be a great help on the O-line. I'm imagining a scenario where he uses his vines to support the other linemen and create a literal wall that will be nearly impossible to get through. Okay, so that's the offense. The game plan is to pound the rock with Juggernaut behind our powerful O-line and use Bullseye's surgical throwing accuracy and our wide receiver's sure hands to pick up first downs when needed. Here's a look at the whole offensive lineup. Now our offense is good, but wait until you see who we have on the defensive side of the ball. Before I get into that though, do me a favor, and if you're enjoying the video, leave a like, subscribe, and comment any characters that I missed that you think would have been a better fit on the offense. The defensive scheme that I chose to run is the 3-4. So that means 3 defensive linemen, 4 linebackers, 2 corners, and 2 safeties. I think we're going to run a lot of cover 3 and man blitzes, so we're going to start with the defensive line. At nose tackle, I went with the Hulk. I considered Hulk for a couple positions, but I think D tackle in our 3-4 scheme is the perfect position. He stands in at 8 feet tall and weighs 1,400 pounds. Most importantly, at this position, he won't have to think or read the offense. His one job is to blow up the play and get in the backfield. Hulk has been named the strongest person in the Marvel Universe by multiple different characters and was the original Omega level threat. Wolverine described fighting him as like fighting a walking earthquake, and that is exactly what I want out of my nose tackle on this team. Easy choice. For our other defensive linemen, the first one, I went with Bane. While clearly not as strong as the Hulk, Bane is no weakling. He uses a drug called Venom to amp up his already insane super strength and abilities. The Venom also increases his physical size, making him an imposing 6'8" and 430 pounds. And as there's no rule against performance enhancing substances in this league, we're going to make sure Bane is juiced to the gills for every game. As a child, Bane was forced to take over his father's life sentence. For 17 years, he lived in a secluded room that was connected to the ocean, so every night when the tide would come in, Bane was forced to swim for his life in churning ocean water. He spent those 17 years training and filling his heart with more and more hate. Exactly the type of mentality we want for our interior D linemen. All of that is great, but the real reason that I chose him is that in certain stories, Bane was a luchador before becoming a villain for Batman. I believe the skills that he learned from wrestling will translate perfectly to the skills needed to be a good D lineman in this league. For our other D end, I went with Rhino. Rhino was originally just another Russian thug, but then he underwent several months of life-threatening gamma ray treatments, which is the same way that Hulk got his powers. And he had his powerful armor grafted onto his skin in order to turn him into the ultimate armored assault weapon. After all the experiments, he comes in standing at 6'5" and weighing 700 pounds. He's incredibly strong, but his best trait is his speed. No one expects a man that size to move that fast. He's known for charging headfirst towards his enemies, and so his speed, strength, and experience makes him perfect for our D-line. In our defensive scheme, we need our outside linebackers to be extremely well-rounded. They have to be able to do it all. So I needed 2 people that were strong, fast, and smart. My first choice for outside linebacker is Thor Odinson. Thor is a Norse god and is one of the only people that could challenge Hulk for the title of strongest in the Marvel Universe. He's a battle-tested warrior and he's been alive for thousands of years. He has godly strength, speed, senses, and has picked up plenty of useful battle strategies throughout his long life. We need someone who's versatile at this position, and Thor has proven time and time again that it doesn't matter the job, he is always the correct choice. My other choice for outside linebacker is Wonder Woman. She's 1/3 of the big 3 of the Justice League and is the daughter of the Queen of the Amazons and Zeus, the mightiest of the gods of Olympus. She's one of the only characters in DC that can stand next to Superman as an equal, and she will excel in this position. Just like Thor, she's incredibly versatile and has skills for any situation that comes her way. She has godlike strength, speed, agility, reflexes, and has a genius-level intellect. Her tactical analysis alone makes her a perfect fit for this position, and having 2 esteemed warriors such as her and Thor at the outside linebacker positions will be perfect for our scheme. Now, I'm sure that you were waiting to see where I was going to put Superman, and in all honesty, he could play literally any position on the field. But I think the best fit for him and where he'll make the most impact on this team is at middle linebacker. We needed a good leader for our defense, and there is no better leader than Superman. He will inspire and give hope to our defense even when it seems that all is lost, just like he's been doing since he was introduced as a character. Superman will be the strongest and fastest player on this team, a true alpha. His senses will help him read and dissect plays before they even happen. He'll shoot gaps and blow up run plays in the backfield, and he'll be able to cover the whole field on pass plays. I don't really need to tell you anymore. You know who Superman is. In our base defense, we run 2 middle linebackers. I had a couple good options for this position, but I can't think of anyone better than Beast to pair up with Superman. Beast actually played football in college and was a standout before being outed as a mutant and kicked off the team. He won't have to worry about any mutant discrimination here though. Using his giant hands, feet, and monkey-like athletic ability, he'll be a huge help in the run game. More than just his athletic ability though, Beast is actually better known for his formidable intellect and will function as a co-captain of our defense. For our defense, I wanted 2 corners with really good range, so no one better than Plastic Man. Plastic Man at corner, any wide receiver that is on his side will be completely blanketed by him and his stretching ability. Plastic Man started out as a small-time crook, but he quickly became an integral part of the Justice League for his usefulness in so many different situations. Plastic Man can also use his power to grow or stretch, eliminating the chance of any balls getting past him deep. I don't care who you have at wideout, Plastic Man will shut them down, and he'll be talking trash the whole time. The exact kind of mentality that you want for your corner. Across from Plastic Man, we're going to go with Martian Manhunter. People claim that his abilities rival Superman, but Martian Manhunter comes with plenty of other powers that Supes doesn't have, one of which, his mind control, sadly won't be allowed, but what will be allowed is his shapeshifter abilities. Just like Plastic Man, Martian Manhunter can manipulate his body into anything that he chooses to. This type of flexibility is essential for a corner on this team. On top of that, his speed rivaling Supes means that on the off chance he does make a mistake, he'll have no problem catching back up. At strong safety, we have Nightcrawler. Now, strong safety is another position that I need someone to be versatile in. He'll be asked to play deep, in the box, on the outside, really anywhere we need him. Now, he doesn't have the speed or strength that most players on the team have, but his mutant ability is going to be an insane advantage. His ability is to teleport at will. Nightcrawler will be teleporting all over the field, and the opposing quarterback will never know where he's going to be. Finally, we have free safety, and my choice is Reed Richards. He is universally known as the smartest character in the Marvel Universe. He was one of the considerations that I made for head coach. The thing about Reed, though, is that he's a bit over analytical at times and has a habit of putting people in dangerous situations in order to achieve his goal. I needed a position for him that will allow him to use his super genius level intellect to analyze things while limiting his control over play calls, so I think free safety is perfect for a man with his skills. Sitting deep at free safety allows him a clear view of the entire offense every time they line up and gives him the chance to see the play develop. His intelligence will be absolutely crucial for this position. The real reason he's playing free safety though is the same as Plastic Man at corner, his insane stretching ability. He could stretch and cover the entire field if he wanted to. He can truly play sideline to sideline and nothing will get past him deep. He's a perfect safety for our scheme. So there's the defense. The idea is to just unleash Hulk and the rest of our D linemen on the quarterback and let some of our smarter characters read the field and make plays. In the 3-4, we'll be playing mostly cover 3 zone with Martian Manhunter, Reed Richards, and Plastic Man deep, while our speedy linebackers swarm the ball and stop anything short, while Nightcrawler gets free range to just travel the field and go for interceptions. So here is the final depth chart for our defense. Thank you guys for sticking around to the end of the video. If you made it to the end, please leave the video a like. I'm planning on making more videos just like this, so if that interests you, then please subscribe to the channel and leave me a comment if you disagree with any of my picks or if there's any characters that you feel like I left out. Alright, have a good one. Peace.